Hi, this is Cameron back again with another Vinyl Finds video. This time I'm going to show 10 albums I brought back from the Dominican Republic back in August when I visited family. My in-laws are all based in the Dominican Republic. My wife's from there. Anyways, when I was there, my relatives came out of the room and showed me 50 albums that I had stored for the last 15 years and had forgotten about. Now, many of them were damaged by the elements, but I did find 10 that were either sealed or in very good condition. So I brought them home. So let me get started with those. So first of all, I picked up, when I was living in the Dominican Republic, a Greg Allman album called Greg Allman Band, I Am No Angel. This came out in 1987. Next up, an easy listening album, an organ-based album, Leon Berry, at the Giant Wurlitzer Pipe Organ, Hub Rank Chicago, Volume 1, and this would have come out around 1957. So sealed. Now, buying albums in the Dominican Republic wasn't easy at the time when I was living there, between 1997 and 2002. There were some street vendors that were basically selling albums that were in really crappy condition, even worse than a lot of our thrift shops. And then the other ones that I did find were at one of the stores on Conde Street, which is a tourist area, an open mall. It was a store that had been open for about 30 or 40 years, and unfortunately I found out this time that it was now closed for good. Anyways, the last time I was visiting there before this time, so about 4 or 5 years ago, they did bring out a bunch of vinyl that they'd had stored for about 20 years. So these are some of the albums I picked up then, or when I was living there until 2002. So here we have Los Diplomáticos, 17 temas de actualidad, so 17 themes of today. Los Diplomáticos from Cuba, and they play ballads and boleros and rumba. So this would be probably from the early to mid 60s, maybe even late 60s. Next up, Salsero from Colombia, or from Venezuela, I should say, who was part of La Dimensión Latina earlier. This is from the 1970s. Oscar de León y su salsa mayor, con bajo y todo, so with bass and everything. Now an album that was a merengue album from the Dominican Republic, La Fuerza Rubiana, with Willy Polanco singing, and the album's called Mi Banana, Mi Sueño. On Zuni Records, which is a famous Dominican label that played a lot of older style merengue and also early bachata. So this album came out, let me just see, 1983. It looks older than that, but this is when it came out. And it advertises that this was produced by the store La Guarachita, which was a very famous record store in the Dominican Republic until when I was living there in the 90s. I went there when they were closing up and managed to pick up a lot of albums that were sealed for about 10 cents each or so. Okay, next up, Anton Karas from Vienna. Vienna City of Dreams, the Zither Magic of Anton Karas, featuring the Third Man theme. So Third Man movie soundtrack he did the music to, and it has zither music. It's from 1948 originally. So this album probably came out in the 60s. So still sealed. Next up, Andy Montañez, El Eterno Enamorado, from Puerto Rico, Salsero. He was originally part of El Gran Combo in La Dimensión Latina. This album came out in 1988. Again, it looks like it's older, but 1988. Yeah, the black and white photos make it look like as if a number of these albums look like they're older than they are. Okay, next up, another salsero from Puerto Rico, Tommy Olivencia y su orquesta, El Jeque, No Soy Automático. This album came out in 1988 as well. And it is salsa. A folklore album from the Dominican Republic by Luis Perez y su orquesta, Folklore Dominicano. Says that it was recorded at the 12th Sports Games of Central American and Caribbean. It was in 1974 in Santo Domingo. So this is going to feature older style merengue and maybe some other styles of Dominican music. Okay, next up, La Selección de Catarrey, also on Zuni Records, also produced by La Guarachita Enterprise. This is La Selección de Catarrey, and it features merengues, salves, y salsas con sabor. So merengues is the typical music of the Dominican Republic. Salves are more of the religious promise music. And salsa, of course, we know as the great mixed music from all over the Caribbean and Latin America, which really was founded in New York in the late 60s, early 70s. So La Selección de Catarrey, this came out in 1980. Okay, now two albums I picked up at a record store in their bargain bin for $3 each. First of all, the Moody Blues, a late album by them, Sur la Mer. And I have to say I enjoyed I Know You're Out There Somewhere, which is the main song. This is from 1988. And it was in excellent condition, so I picked it up. I always enjoy Moody Blues. I've seen them 4 times live and really enjoy the experience. It's early progressive rock and mixing classical components with rock, and they really create a sort of a dreamscape for me where I really just sort of float away with their music. Next up, a Sealed album from 1979 by 10cc, 10 out of 10. And that was an enjoyable album. I have to say it wasn't real memorable, but I have to give it some more listens. Okay, and then 4 albums I picked up at our record store, local record store, Into the Music, which is pretty well the best record store in Winnipeg. Been around for about 30 years. They have the best high-quality collectible records. Anyways, they had a 25% off sale for Record Store Day and Black Friday and onwards for a few days. So I picked up the 3rd album of Damnation of Adam Blessing, so just called Damnation, Which is the Justice, Which is the Thief, and I've seen 2 dates for this, 1971, which it says on the album, and 1972, which is at the Damnation of Adam Blessing site. So maybe it was recorded in 71 and released in 72. So this is a VG Plus, quite an enjoyable hard rock, I believe from Cleveland. Yeah, the website recounts the tragic story of one of the members who spent about 17 years in jail from the 1980s for, well, he claims it was a relatively innocent situation that didn't deserve 17 years in jail. But anyways, that was the claim. Okay, next up, a Psych album from Freeport. It's just called Freeport, 1969 American album. This is in beautiful shape. Now at 25% off, the four albums I got at Into the Music averaged about $8.50 each, so they were under $10 including tax. Next up, the quirky folk artist Jake Holmes. This is his album from 1972, How Much Time? And I know that his quirky folk is becoming more mainstream by 1972. Still, it was an enjoyable album, great shape. And then finally, a UK folk rock band on Dawn Records, Prelude After the Gold Rush from 1973. This is a gatefold. Let me take a look. Yeah, it's a gatefold. And then here's the inner part of the gatefold. So again, that was enjoyable folk rock. Nothing real memorable, but still enjoyable nonetheless. So that was the first time in a number of months that other than at the record fair recently, but other than that, I've been buying mainly $1 and $2 albums. So I splurged this time out and got 4 albums for about $8.50 each, as I said. So I have to save up my dollars for the Christmas sale that they'll have in a few weeks' time, a Boxing Day sale, I should say. Okay, thanks very much for tuning in. Please leave your comments at the bottom, and I'd really appreciate it if you would if you'd subscribe. So have a good day. Bye-bye.